business Silicon Valley, the bank. Friday.
You're gonna have to explain that because I don't know what that Silicon Valley. I always think of like
the tech space.
Tech space. I think of silicone for some reason.
Yes.
Like silicone and like
the material.
Like
material,
Dr. Miami, like surgical stuff.
I'm rolling.
Yes,
Gotcha.
the BBL. Shout out to the BBL crew. But this is not about BBLs though. This is about like
their digital coin,
the
currency.
Part of it, but it's an investment bank. So they have a clientele where if you want to launch a startup, you go to them. Be like,
okay,
this I need this loan at this interest.
Right.
I'm gonna take them out.
Oh, so you can pick your interest? Wow. Okay, but continue.
No, not pick it, but like they give you
Mm-hmm.
interest at a fixed rate. But guess what happened Friday?
What?
The bank shut down.
For business or for the lunch hour?
You wish it was lunch. Some people couldn't get lunch. Some people didn't get paid actually.
Wow.
On a Friday. So what happened is
payroll on what? Payroll got stuck?
The bank closed up, right? Due to I don't know if they said misappropriated funds or
Oh gosh.
but they call it a bank collapse. Now, just for the update, like as of right now, the federal government in the U.S. did agree to bail it out. They didn't use the word bailout, but
that's what they did. Yes.
You see the action.
If you know what the actions are, then you understand.
So bailout means they're gonna pay the money to pay everybody else.
Yeah. So
they basically covering them. Yeah.
Roughly 200 billion.
Wow.
Right. So with the clientele around like 90 something, like a high 90% are tech startups, investors, people who manage like cryptocurrency, stuff like that. The rest are just like regular everyday users. Now, they have a guarantee where 250,000, no matter what happens, they pay it back. But what did I just say? 95% of them are not 250,000 or lower users. They're basically millions invested.
Right.
So because they ran out of the money and everything, the banks just collapsed. So what was happening with like payroll? You'll be there like, oh, where's my check or whatever, and then people will be going online or they'll be going to the bank and the bank's like, yeah, we don't got it. So you saw images like of people, we don't got it. So you see people lining up. There's pictures of people like lining up at the bank just like on their cell phone. You know when someone's hot in the line when they're on their cell phone and just like, yo, I can't get the money. Yo, there's a line up at the bank and it's like
That's crazy.
Because of this, like Wells Fargo end up having problems. I read today we got hit. So BMO, TD Bank, and I think RBC, close to 20 billion gone. So that type of effect hit Canadian banks.
Right. So that says we were invested in it too.
Right. I forgot to mention other banks invest in Silicon Valley Bank too. So this collapse kind of.
So they're gonna bail it out though, right?
Yeah. So around Monday,
So even if they bail it out, our interest rates are still gonna go up for something, because we could just pretend that there was a bailout.
No, it's more so like it's more like the government now owns it, right? Because they've paid for the tab. Basically, that's what it is. It's like you ran a tab as a company, you were doing so great, but then now you couldn't afford it, and therefore, because the government actually has the money, they're like, we'll cover the tab, but we will not take on the name of the ownership, but on paper we are. You're still the face.
Yeah.
You still own it to the public, but we own it in the back door.
But I feel like they turn public idiot same way and say, yo, don't worry about the bailout. Like, for example, I don't want to say it, but COVID.
Oh, okay.
Inflation. Yo, but COVID's not a thing anymore. But, yo, COVID is the reason why food is high.
Part of it, but...
Of course, but like, you know what I mean? Like,
because the other reason
you're not going to fight that, though. You see what I'm saying? The man said, why you cheer COVID?
You could. I
was on lockdown all days. You know, John Tory.
It's just...
But it's better to do that than to like. It's not. Is it better? I don't know.
That is a quick.
Then to avoid bankruptcy, that is probably the worst thing you can do. Right? Because as a consumer, for example, if you were to claim bankruptcy, you can't do anything for 7 years.
Yeah.
So
I don't know how that works.
Like another rule too, like because I think the banks here have like 100,000 limit.
Yes.
So if something goes wrong, 100,000 they gotta pay you. But if you're over, it could take 10 days, a month, a year, 7 years, just to clear that queue up, right? Allegedly, one of the, I don't know if he's an owner of the Silicon Valley Bank, but he sold something. See, you know what he sold?
Before? Oh yes. He's playing a Sam Friedman.
What did he sell?
That's a good term.
What did he sell?
He sold some of the stocks. So allegedly around January, he just sold a bunch of, because of the stock name for Silicon Valley Bank is SVB. So he sold a bunch of those and just kind of...
Hiccup.
Yeah.
Just kind of
So are you trying to say that he knew what was going to happen and you just say...
Allegedly.
Seems like some inside trading.
He may have had some foresight on what was happening. Some foresight.
You know what? I would not be surprised. I am not surprised. I just want to know how.
Sound bank for free.
I just want to know how we How do we tap into that money?
Sam.
How do we tap into that money? That's what I want to know. I want to know how people get their millions of dollars and tap in. I mean, without selling their soul.
Okay. I mean, they present an idea. That like tech companies, they present an idea.
Like any business.
Yeah, it shows great promise, and it's like, okay, here's a loan. You pay us back at this percentage. So here's James. Here, Mr. James. Here's 10 million. This is 10 million to pay your employees, to cultivate your idea, to pay for rent space. All right, let's see what you got. And then, you're turning profit? Okay, good. We need that money back plus the interest, right?
It's like a business credit card.
Yes and no, because it's a loan, really.
It's a loan, but it's similar. They're cousins.
It's an installment. It's an installment loan.
They're cousins.
You know, because like it's the same as like how a family business would run, right? But you, as the individual, collected the money and made the equity for your business to make it run.
Right.
Right. For tech companies, it's more like you just bring the idea.
Right.
And they fund it.
The way I see it, and I'll be real with you.
Like we were talking earlier, TikTok, Instagram.
For me, I've heard of it, and I've heard of these situations, but like I don't think it hit enough. Like for example, like this is my example because I don't know much about business. I know much about, you know, we have like Michael Jackson, and then we have all these other artists. Michael Jackson is one of the greatest artists alive. How? Yeah. Because when he went on stage and he didn't even perform yet, he just jumped on stage. People are getting escorted out the hospital. People are hitting the merge.
Right.
So for those listening, I think you're referring to
like he's feigning. Like people are feigning. People are passing out when they see Michael. He didn't even start the song yet.
Right.
He did the Super Bowl. He jumped out and just
stood there
for a minute straight. 2 minutes straight.
Passing out.
Him and his linen jacket.
I don't think artists are passing out like the way they had stacks of ambulances outside just in case for this guy.
Just for MJ.
And I don't think artists are doing that type of thing due to the quality or whatever. So the way I put it in Silicon Valley, if it's not as like
it's not Michael Jackson level,
like I've heard of it, but I don't know enough. But if it's enough, like if I don't hear like some madness happening,
we'll see,
I'm not gonna. Yeah, we'll see because
we'll see Monday.
But like,
I mean,
certain like COVID was our Michael Jackson of pandemics. Like literally,
that's interesting.
And our sense of like. If there's anything you could say, like you heard about, like you heard about the Spanish flu, whatever. No, we only know of this thing that the media marketed as like as bad as this. You know what I mean? But when you have like a legit plague that happened, like, you know what I mean? I'm not trying to, like, for me, it's like I hear about this stuff, but I'm just like, I don't hear the madness yet.
Okay.
Right.
I just hear like, oh, this is what happened. Oh, okay.
I mean, if you're on payroll and you're not getting paid, that's a rough weekend.
No,
still.
of course.
You're on the floor,
which
your pants are soaked. You don't know what's happening.
But if
you're not getting paid,
at the same time, it's not madness to the point that if it's not madness where like
I need to eat, G. They haven't paid me.
If it's not madness where it's like guns blazing or man's not flipping over desk, I don't hear about, like, for example, like, people are mad at the president.
Right.
But there were people mad to the point that they stormed the White House.
Which is
you see what I'm saying? There's an extent of saying, I don't like you. And an extent to say, go into the White House and kick down the thing and make an, like, I'm not saying that it's not bad.
Right.
I'm just saying that, like, I don't know the impact of it yet.
So,
you know, I don't know the impact of things.
I get it. But, okay. So, even though you may not understand the level of detriment that it may be causing, it is for something like that, it's not going to affect you immediately. And because the nature of the actual, like, situation, it's money. Money already takes days to process as it is, right? When you get paid, if say, for example, if you're doing especially here in Canada, if you're doing precarious work or you're doing part-time work, there's a delay of 2 weeks. So you don't actually see your money immediately unless you're full-time, right? Or even some jobs where it's like, that's what it is. So you wouldn't feel the effects of the money collapsing until maybe another 2 weeks later. Because it's already delayed. Okay. Right? Because they give themselves the buffer. So that's one way that it would affect you. But again, money moves slower because there's a lot of processes. There's a lot of things there are holds that the banks put on. There are things that they have to check. They have to ensure that they have the right amount of money in order for it to push out and pull in, you know, like that kind of stuff. So something happening where it's affecting 3 banks over here in Canada, that's a big thing.
Yeah, that threw me off too. It was
3 big banks, first off, and second off, banks that have long holds in banking here altogether, right? It's not a Scotiabank. It was RBC.
It was a TD Bank.
There we go.
BMO and an RBC, I think.
Yeah. RBC is definitely known for business. So is BMO, known for business, and TD is known for sponsoring a whole lot of stuff too.
Yeah, sure. So Financial Post, it's 2 days ago, but Canadian banks erase 19.7 billion in value of the SVB contagion. That's a.
If they wrote that off, that sucks.
I just want to know. For me, it's like how it like. I guess I have to find out
how it affects the everyday person.
How it affects the everyday person that did not do any Silicon Valley thing.
Sorry, guys. Scotia, BMO, TD, not RBC.
Scotia,
okay.
BMO, and TD. No, it's not. This
is good to hear. I'm
not.
I am RBC.
That is not good. Because Scotiabank is responsible for like how many of the arenas here.
That's good. That's bad. That's good.
That is funny.
What? All your sporting's good is basically invested by Scotiabank.
I mean, I don't really go to Cineplex movies anymore.
No, not just Cineplex. Caravana, you forget?
Oh, shoot.
All your entertainment.
Oh, snap.
Everything recreational. Scotiabank has a big player in that.
Nice. Caravana, man.
You need to know that. TD is responsible for marketing here. You have to remember.
And obviously, they haven't been doing a good job.
Oh, my goodness.
BMO.
Let's explain that.
BMO is for your small businesses.
Right.
Know who is being affected here.
Oh, Scotia. Okay. I don't want to hate on people.
You shouldn't.
All right.
But
I'm going to leave it. Because
I want to know what happened.
Scotiabank the simple fact that they trying to take, like, we already, years ago, on a podcast years ago, I didn't like that they try to call it the Caribbean Festival, and we all know that's Caribana.
Oh, really?
That's just one thing.
That's your one of many beefs with
But
them.
when the bank come in, they don't want nobody else to have money. So the people that try to hustle and bustle, they try to exile them out. And they are part of more community than the bank is.
That's a fair point.
And at the same time, if Scotiabank really wanted power, I'm not gonna say that they want power, but like, I mean, isn't Caribana weekend a little bit more funner than Caribana itself? That's just a conversation in itself.
Is it wait?
Like, people buy all them things, is great, but like, even that structure is kind of tough because these people. Anyway, that's a whole different spiel that I'll leave to the carnival costume makers that, you know, hustling and bustling to get these costumes together, but a bank owns the whole carnival and you have to pay them probably to get into as a carnival person. I don't know how it works.
Say, what was the question? Sorry.
I think, like, when it comes to these banks, like Scotiabank,
Right.
I do believe if Scotiabank really cared about Caribana, the people that are building the costumes should be like funded by, in a way that they can not rush it in a way, like, I don't know. There should be a little, I don't know, maybe more money put into these things. I don't know.
They are.
I don't know how much money it is. I don't know if it's enough. I don't know how it works. But at the end of the day, there's a flaw in all these banks. Everybody, no bank is perfect.
This is true, but it goes back to like the actual amount of, see, and this is why it's so important to know your economics, guys. I stress this all the time. Know your economics. Please, 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 please. I don't know how many times I have to stress that, because then you know why certain opportunities are not available for you within your home country. Like,
see, and that's the thing. I stay away from my lane. Like, Silicon Valley, I hear it and I understand, but like for me it's the danger of, like, I want to know how it affects, like, what happens when it goes down the line. It
affects construction, it affects housing, it affects the way that people can get tax refunds, it affects the way that you get credits, it affects how infrastructure is built. That's all.
But that's the thing.
And they got to print more money, which
then boosts the inflation.
I understand the pandemic. Like, when it was COVID, like, you see, like, for me, I guess it's just me just seeing the effect.
Right. So
then, like for me, silicone, it's like, yeah, it's an American thing, but like, I just trying to understand, like.
Well, they're our biggest traders.
Are they?
Not traitors, TRAITORs, but TRADERS.
I guess I gotta learn more about Silicon Valley still. Cause I know it's a tech thing, but I don't know.
Well, I mean, it's a lot, again, because we live off of the shoulders of everybody. I have to preface that. A lot of the businesses that we have here, the conglomerates, especially when it comes to tech, are American. So if they can't fund it in America, guess what? They're going to take it and shut it down, like Nordstrom, which is a clothing factory. So
Nordstrom's American?
Yeah.
Nordstrom is American.
I didn't know that. I don't know.
So stuff like that gets affected. Where, like, now, because they can't afford it, they will take down places that are probably spending the least. Canada.
Just like Target.
Exactly. So that's how it affects them.
Just like Lowe's.
Right.
Yeah.
So if there's not enough income coming, they will shut down those places, because why would they continue to pay a bill that's not recouping anything? It's not even making ends meet. The first place they're going to target is us.
I wonder what's going to fill that Yorkdale space.
Because it's a big space.
The Yorkdale, Sherway Mall, Eaton Center. That's some big...
What can go into Nordstrom space? I don't even go into Nordstrom still.
It's like a miniature of the Bay.
I know, but
less variety still.
Yeah.
I need a like fashion designer to to help me with swag and all that stuff. Like I go into these malls and I get claustrophobic. I don't know what I'm picking up. I don't know what I want. I don't know what to wear. It's like I should just get all black.
It's just high end.
Like I don't understand what looks good anymore.
Yeah, I don't really follow what looks good. I just put on my sexy.
This sounds like you're having an effect of Kanye. But you know what?
Oh shoot, okay.
This has nothing to do with Kanye for me.
I just put on my sexy boots.
This has nothing to do with Kanye for me. I'm trying to make money.
Like I'm not keeping up with Supreme is sizzling right now, but like back at their peak, I wasn't really keeping up with Supreme.
Supreme did a very good job with their business model.
It's just a name.
I don't know anything.
It's really just a name. It's just like
their business model. They made it like how what is this thing called? NFTs. Mm-hmm. They made themselves like NFTs. So it's one of a kind. And because
like Supreme, yeah, it's serious.
Right. So
like the OVO owl.
No.
Whoa.
Because they'll have like Nike OVO owl, like same sweater, just the stitching, and it's like $500.
No. So what they did was they made themselves the one of a kind brand. So there's only 5 that are made from Supreme, and because there's only 5 like in the whole collection, that is all that there will be. So if
really,
yes. So once it starts moving around, that's how this is the same as NFTs. You start pushing it around to whoever wants to have it at a certain bidding, the value of it now goes up because there's only 5 of them made. That's how Supreme made themselves.
I did not know that.
Because up to now, like, I don't know who owns a Supreme like that. Like, I don't see.
I know some people that.
It's a collector piece.
It's like
people insure that stuff now. They insure Supreme.
I don't. I don't know.
Me and my fashion brands, guys. This is how I be with fashion and brands.
Yeah.
I'm coming to business like that.
Anything about that.
Wow.
I don't know anything about fashion brands. I mean,
you can get a sticker and buy it for $5 and then it's valued at $50 from Supreme.
If I knew the future that certain things would be a flip, I would have done that. But
I mean, that's Jordans for you.
I mean, yeah,
that is Jordans. But the people are saying that they've been pricey. Like people like in their 40s, 50s, 60s. They say it's been not pricey, but like
expensive.
Expensive, yeah.
I mean, they've always
but
been
it's up now though. Like it's really up.
$300.
Not like $150.
Yeah.
Like in the 90s?
$150 for J's?
Yeah.
In the 90s?
Oh, in the 90s.
Yeah, but then that's what I mean. Now it's like
but that's the currency. Now you're getting like I'm seeing $6 for certain kicks. The kicks I want, I'm seeing 6.
The kick thing is out of control.
I'm just like, I mean, hey, if you got it.
If I'm gonna do 500 on boots,
that goes back to that one of a kind thing.
If I'm gonna do 500 on boots, I'm gonna make sure a person with Italian hands
who could float
will make it with leather.
Not the Italian hands.
And makes the stylish.
Who actually does the shoe carving and everything.
The shoe carving
fits
it to your feet. If I'm paying $5 for a shoe, that's what I'll buy.
They hammer it in and everything.
I'm making it for no sneaker.
They did your whole measurement.
Shout out to Jordan, but no, I'm not paying that much for your sneaker. Stop it. Stop the noise.
I want some kicks. I want some J's. I want some certain. Well,
I like how one type of J is like the most popular at all. The other styles, see people here and there, but that one style. I think it's the 23. No, I think that's the most remixed.
I don't know. I don't know the numbers. I just need somebody just dress me.
Just dress me. You gotta ask the people from Silicon Valley to dress you.
No,
they can afford it.
No, they're trying to put chips into people probably. But
now this topic that you introduced to us behind the scenes.